The Golden State Warriors lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the second round of the 2025 NBA playoffs in 5 games. Warriors superstar point guard Steph Curry suffered a grade 1 left hamstring strain in Game 1 and missed the rest of the series. The Warriors, who won Game 1, lost 4 consecutive games without Curry. Golden State made a blockbuster trade in February, acquiring all-star small forward Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat. Now, one NBA analyst has proposed that the Warriors make another big trade this offseason. Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report came up with the following trade idea involving the Warriors, Chicago Bulls, and Charlotte Hornets. Bulls get Jonathan Kuminga. Warriors get Lonzo Ball, Jalen Smith, Josh Okogie, 2026 Portland Trail Blazers protected first-rounder from Bulls, 2029 second-rounder from Hornets, 2029 Denver Nuggets second-rounder from Hornets, 2031 second-rounder from Hornets, 2031 Phoenix Suns second-rounder from Hornets. Hornets get Moses Moody, Jevon Carter. Kuminga becomes a restricted free agent this offseason. The small forward and the Warriors are expected to explore sign-and-trade scenarios once the 2025 NBA Finals end. The trade needs to wait until July 6, when Kuminga can sign a contract, starting at $30.4 million, Pincus wrote. Charlotte uses its non-taxpayer mid-level exception to take in Carter, leaving a $7.3 million balance and triggering a first-apron hard cap. The Bulls also gain a first-apron hard cap by taking in a player via sign-and-trade. The Warriors are hard-capped at the second apron by bringing back players for Kuminga in the sign-and-trade and using aggregation. The Trail Blazers' first is lottery-protected. This trade idea would send Ball, Smith, and Okogie to the Warriors, who have won 4 championships in the Curry-Draymond Green era. Ball averaged 7.6 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 3.3 assists for the Bulls this season. Smith averaged 8.2 points and 5.6 rebounds for the Bulls, and Okogie averaged 7.1 points and 2.8 rebounds for the Phoenix Suns and Hornets. If push comes to shove, the Golden State Warriors might just have a trade partner for their restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga. Multiple reports point to Kuminga as a fallback option for the Miami Heat in case they miss out on Kevin Durant. Hoopshype's Michael Scotto reported on June 16 that the Heat could acquire the restricted free agent via sign-and-trade as their backup option. The Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat are 2 teams to monitor as potential sign-and-trade candidates for Kuminga, league sources told Hoopshype. With that in mind, the Warriors have also not ruled out the possibility of retaining Kuminga, sources said, Scotto wrote. NBA insiders Mark Stein and Jake Fisher followed up on that. Maybe Miami, for example, would make a sign-and-trade run at Kuminga in the event that the Heat don't win the trade race to acquire the league's number 8 all-time leading scorer. Sources say Miami has registered a level of interest in Kuminga in previous transaction cycles, Stein and Fisher wrote on the Stein Line Substack newsletter. The Heat's focus remains on bringing a bona fide star after they lost Jimmy Butler, ironically to the Warriors, at the trade deadline. Miami has prioritized pursuits of Giannis Antetokounmpo, if he became available this summer, and Kevin Durant, whom they're actively trying to acquire, on their wish list ahead of Kuminga, who's viewed as a fallback option to the 2 superstars, Scotto wrote. But with Antetokounmpo increasingly likely to stay in Milwaukee, and with the Suns preferring high-impact players from other Durant bidders, a Kuminga to Miami is a possibility. Warriors getting back Andrew Wiggins? Kuminga, the number 7 pick in the 2021 NBA draft, is looking for an expanded and consistent role moving forward, Scotto noted. Warriors coach Steve Kerr often compared the 22-year-old Kuminga to a younger version of Butler, an athletic wing who attacks the paint and gets to the free throw line. Their issue as a non-shooter made Kerr reluctant to play them together since they acquired the former Heat star. Kuminga showed what he can do when given the opportunity during the last 4 games of their second-round loss in the playoffs. The 22-year-old forward averaged 24.3 points on 55.4% overall shooting and 38.9% from the three-point line in what could be his final games in a Golden State uniform. Kuminga fits the timeline of the Heat's young core of Bam Adebayo, 27, Tyler Herro, 25, Jamie Jaquez Jr., 24, Nikola Jovic, 22, and Kel'el Ware, 21. He can grow with them. The Heat could send back Andrew Wiggins, who never found his footing in Miami, to the Warriors for Kuminga and a salary filler. Jonathan Kuminga looking for expanded role. With Kuminga entering a pivotal offseason, he's blocked out the outside noise as he awaits what's next in his young career. The 22-year-old Warriors forward has limited who can comment on his Instagram account as he posted several photos of himself working out. Kuminga is looking for an expanded and consistent role moving forward, Scotto noted. Kerr has made himself clear he can't do that with the current makeup of the team and their win-now window. "I've been asked to win," Kerr told the San Francisco Standard's Tim Kawakami on the TK show on Wednesday, May 21st. "And right now, he's not a guy who I can say, I'm going to play 38 minutes with the roster we have, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green, and put the puzzle together that way and expect to win." In his final 4 games of the season, and perhaps with Golden State if he's traded, Kuminga averaged 24.3 points on 55.4% overall shooting and 38.9% from the three-point line. The Golden State Warriors allowed Klay Thompson to walk in the offseason, a decision that shocked many around the NBA. Not only is Thompson still playing at a decent level, but he's arguably one of the 3 greatest Warriors players in the history of the franchise. Nonetheless, Thompson took a deal with the Dallas Mavericks and had a decent season a year ago, averaging 14.0 points while shooting 39.1% from three-point range. That was the fewest points he averaged throughout his career since his rookie season in 2011-12, but it was a completely different role for him, and he did his job. However, some have questioned if the Mavericks could move on from him this offseason, including a recent trade idea from Empire Sports Media that would see Dallas send him back to Golden State. The Warriors and their fans have never stopped loving Klay Thompson, evidenced by the franchise's heartfelt response to the passing of his beloved Bulldog, Rocco, in May 2025, and the emotional ovation during his return to Chase Center as a Maverick on November 12, 2024, David McFarland wrote. A reunion could mend the wounds of Thompson's departure, which left fans and the organization grappling with the end of the Splash Brothers era. Bringing Thompson back could galvanize the fanbase and locker room, reinforcing the Warriors' identity as a franchise that honors its legends. Thompson's role would likely be reduced, potentially as a 6th man, a scenario that contributed to his departure in 2024. Could Golden State bring back the lost Splash Brother? The Golden State Warriors bringing Thompson back would be a fun idea, but it might not make too much sense on the basketball court. Without factoring in his contract, Thompson is getting up there in age, and his injuries have certainly slowed him down. According to reports from Ramona Shelburne of ESPN, there were points throughout his last year with the Warriors where he felt disrespected. That isn't ideal for Golden State or Thompson if they wanted to pursue a reunion. Thompson had felt disrespected, sources said, that the team didn't offer him an extension the summer after it won that title, ESPN reported. That feeling only deepened the following summer when Golden State was only willing to discuss 2-year contracts in the range of $23 million to $24 million, instead of matching the 4-year, $100 million deal Green had received. Is there bad blood between the Warriors and Thompson? Thompson felt disrespected due to how the Golden State Warriors handled his contract situation. He believed he deserved a contract, but the Warriors' front office didn't want to give him what he was seeking. They had their reasons, but ultimately it all played out the way it did. If the Warriors ever considered a reunion, they have to remember what went on. Shelburne reported that he was miserable about how the team treated him, which should eliminate any potential of him returning. But over the past year, Thompson has been relatively easy to read. He was miserable, as one person close to him said. Miserable with how negotiations with the team had gone on a new contract. Miserable at the thought he wasn't respected or valued by the franchise in the way his older Splash brother, Stephen Curry, 36, and Draymond Green, 34, were. Miserable at his declining role on the team. And yes, miserable at the way his game and play had declined, as well.